What's going on, guys? It's Lady B. Welcome back to another episode of Beyond the TownHall. Now, there has been quite a bit of a delay between this series, and that's actually due to the fact that I had previously recorded several episodes relating to the ESL World Championship Qualifiers. And obviously, there have been some setbacks with that due to COVID-19, which has been a huge global issue, and it has impacted our community, at least in the sense that our live play events, our offline qualifying events, are now delayed. The guest that I have for today actually had a huge announcement that came up in between. So I wound up doing a part 1 and part 2 that are going to be together in this video. So we had previously recorded, and then we're able to update with the big news that came. And we'll get into that momentarily, but let's talk about the changes to the ESL schedule, just so you can see if you're not aware. The initial World Championship qualifiers that happened in February is now potentially moved to May, and I think that might be reassessed depending on where everything is, but for now this is the date that we have. Now, one thing to note is the one you see for March is actually going to be redone, and that's for the online qualifier. So there were some issues with banned accounts, and Supercell decided to turn around and null out all of the wins through that online qualifier, and they will now have to replay. Everybody will be replaying for that one. So if you want an opportunity to get in, it's going to happen in May. That's going to be your chance. It's going to be the next online qualifier to happen, but the winners of that will face off in Poland for the offline qualifiers in June. And then you can see the rest of the schedule, which has been pushed back considerably, but hopefully we'll get everything back on track for that. Now, without further ado, let's get into the episode featuring Sir Ironheart from JOF, which is now known, their official esports team is now known as Alternate Attacks. Sir Iron, thank you so much for joining today.
Hello, thanks for having me. It's an honor to be here.
Originally, you were part of Tribe Gaming. We saw you with a team back in 2019. And of course, we have a new team that's developed from former Tribe members, and that's you, Yo-Yo, and Boom. And now we just had a huge announcement, but we'll get to that in a second. We'll get to that in 1 second. But tell us a little bit about that transition going from Tribe Gaming into JOF.
Last year, I joined Tribe Gaming. The first month I was actually in Tribe Gaming. That was also the month where we went with Tribe Gaming to Poland. And we basically had our little sixer team back then, which consisted of Boom, Yo-Yo, Vale, Knowledge, Lucas, and I. It's to like big parts the same team we have now in JOF. So we all played together already. We also had multiple times we played the Tono Cups together, so we all know each other very well. For example, Yo-Yo was actually the leader also just a few months ago in JOF. So obviously he was very connected to JOF. And then Boom always was like a duo between JOF and Tribe Gaming. So yeah, when we were hearing about the retirement of Vale and Maxi, we obviously had different options, either staying with Tribe Gaming or maybe going back to basically the team we had before. We talked, and then we made the decision to team up again with the team we had, which was back then called Jinx Squad. Because we always used to jinx our hits. And then obviously also Lennate joined, who was also a part of MCS last year. Yeah, but he was always still in JOF. He never left JOF during that time. That's basically the connection why he ended up with us. And then the last one in our team now is us. Us played every Tono Cup with me up from Tono 7. I think the only one we didn't play together was Tono 10. Because of the World Cup. I didn't have time that month. But yeah, I played the Tono Cup with us, and then when we had place on the team, I asked Yo-Yo and Vale to join the team, and we won the Tono 9 Cup together. That's how the others also got to know us, and now we're all a team representing JOF.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people might not know the history of your team in JOF and what JOF has done within the Champions War League and various other leagues over the years. So it really does seem like a natural transition for you guys. And it definitely looks like it has been, because 2020 has been such a great start for you, obviously qualifying for the World Championship offline qualifiers, but also winning just this past weekend the EWU Grand Finals. It was $1,000 tournament, and out of all the amazing teams that were playing there, INTZ, Tribe Gaming, Tump and I, you had Lando Gaming, who's now Megastars. I mean, just like all the top guys there, Tang, and you guys won it all. So it's been such a great start. What's the team been working on together that's really keeping that momentum going?
I mean, the first thing, which was definitely like for some of us, like a big transition, is getting used to speaking English on voice for everyone. Because I mean, JOF is mainly German. In Tribe Gaming, we basically only talk German on voice. And then also Val, who obviously like played in MCS, so he was used to like French voice. Yeah, like we worked on working together as a team, and also improving our communication. I think that's a big part. And then in general, I think our base building, our work on our base building has been really good. Our defense has been very good in every war we had this so far. I think those are like the key factors why we do well right now. We just have to keep pushing and keep working hard on those things, and I think we are in a good spot if we do that.
Coming off of having such a strong team together with Tribe and that dynamic, was it difficult to make that decision to move away?
Yeah, it definitely wasn't like an easy decision. I mean, Itsu and Eve Jack are two very good players. I mean, we had a really great team. Obviously, with the two retirements or breaks now, with Vale coming back, it's maybe not really a retirement. There was obviously like a huge change. I mean, we had basically, at least for me, like we had like two options: either to stay in Tribe or to basically meet up with our other former teammates, with Yo-Yo and that team. And I mean, it wasn't an easy decision, but I mean, after everything, like now looking back, everything worked out well. I think also for the Tribe guys, I'm very glad that they found a good team and that they have a good team to compete, and I'm excited to play them in Poland. That's definitely going to be fun. And it's great to see that there's a lot of good teams in general at the moment. Makes it really exciting and really fun to war each other.
So I have 2 points that I want to bring out there, and we're going to have to talk about them separately. So let's talk about the first point, Vale coming back out of retirement. So if anybody's seen on Twitter, there was a big announcement that Vale is back, and he's going to be playing in JOF, so no longer moving forward with the Tribe team, but coming over with you guys. And as you mentioned, he was originally part of the Jinx squad. But what does that mean? So you have currently, I know Vale is replacing Lucas, which is Kutenturk, and you had 6 players at that point. So that means you still have 6 players. So who's going to be the 5 for Poland then? What's the dynamic for that?
Yeah, we basically swap between the wars, like in EW and in Pinnacle Cup and those kind of wars. We kind of like keep it changing, keep it moving. We never really have the same lineup, which I think is very good. So we all get to know each other. We all get to work with each other. I mean, it's good practice, so everyone should benefit of it. For next month, March, Poland, it will be those 5 who played in ESL. So Vale is not going. After that, we always handled the same. Also, for example, for the ESL qualifier. I mean, we are a 6er team. There's no one who's, let's say ranked higher or lower. And I think skill-wise, we all pretty close. There's like people who are really good in a certain meta or just can really adapt really well. But yeah, we will always go with the best 5 at the moment we have to choose, and that's how we're going to make the decision.
So are the tournaments that you're doing, the leagues and the tournaments, kind of your way of gauging who will qualify, or the CWL, obviously, and kind of hit rates based on that?
It's not just hit rates. It's also, I mean, there's always you can't always just base it on the numbers, I guess. A lot of people overlook this, but there's always someone who has to take the ugly bases. I mean, for example, there were back in July last year when we were in Poland with the Dark Looters team, or Jinx Squad team. We always liked 4 bases. We had really good plans, and then there was always one base we didn't really like. And basically the poor guy who had to do those bases was Knowledge. And people were saying, oh, Knowledge only tripled once or twice or something. But if you're actually there, okay, he did basically the plans where we kind of knew, okay, it's really hard to triple those bases. So yeah, I think just hit rate is not really something you should take in account. I mean, there's a lot of factors, just maybe also how much of a role you can play in planning, which is also huge in Poland, obviously. If you can contribute a lot with the plans. Overall, it's obviously hard to judge or to compare people, but it's also a bit about how you feel. I think it can't really be 100% objective. So we all try to just pick what we think is the right decision, the best for the team, and everyone is cool with the decision. So
being able to work well together and make those decisions that everyone finds fair. What's been your biggest challenge for the team then? Because I would think that that's one of the challenges that you face, but what would be your biggest challenge so far?
I think I mentioned earlier, but one of the biggest challenges was or is communication still. One big factor of that is, for example, spotting, because everyone likes to have their spotters act differently, I guess. Some are okay or want to have people telling them everything or telling them to drop this now and to wait on this and that. And then there's others who just don't want you to say anything except if it's really needed. When everything is going badly, then they want you to step in. So yeah, I think we are still at a spot where I think we're getting to know each other a lot better now, and we work very well now. But I think there's still improvement. Also, in our planning, we can definitely still improve on that. And I think working on that is a big challenge, because you can't do a lot about it except practice and just talk about it, I guess, and hope you find a good solution together.
Going into Poland, we've talked a little bit about the Tribe component with a few of you guys coming from Tribe and now having the J-Off team. But that's not the only common teams you've shared, because Aphelion's going to be in there as well. And I spoke with the guys and they did mention that. It's something that I actually forgot. But I think it was asked that was part of Aphelion prior. So how's that going to be facing off against your former teammates? What's the vibe in J-Off for that? Is it hype? Is there a little bit of nervousness knowing that they kind of know your style, or that gives you an advantage as well, knowing their styles? What's the feeling on facing your former teammates in general?
I think it's definitely hype. I don't think we really have to fear anyone. I think we are up there. So yeah, it's definitely not fear or being nervous. I think it's just hype. It's exciting to meet them again, also off the battlefield. So yeah, it's definitely going to be fun, and I think all of us are very excited. You mentioned Ask for him. It's obviously the first trip, so that's going to be fun. I think it's a lot of excitement, a lot of hype. But yeah, we will still be very focused and just hope to do our thing.
Which opponent are you looking forward to facing the most?
I guess actually Tribe. I think that's definitely a war which will be a lot of fun, because it will be challenging for sure. But yeah, we like the competition, and we want to have the things be exciting. I think the tribe war will, at least for me personally, be the kind of highlight, I guess.
And you guys actually have a matchup coming up.
Yeah, it's Pinnacle Cup. Yeah.
The semifinals. So that's going to be a really nice preview. Is there a little bit of like would you call it a grudge match or like rivalry, just because it's like former teams against teams, in a friendly, healthy, competitive way, at least?
Yeah, I think there's definitely a bit of rivalry. And I mean, as you said, I think it also belongs into that healthy, competitive, style, which is what we play. Like, obviously, there's always like the competition, and it's interesting to see if there is like maybe something we can like recognize from their base building or something like that they maybe did or stuff like this. But I mean, the meta changed so much. It's a new TownHall, so yeah, I don't think they can really use any knowledge they have of us, and I don't think we can really use much knowledge from being in their team to get an advantage or anything like that. Obviously, you can still like follow streams and just kind of get an idea what they maybe prefer to do, but at the moment there's so many strats which work really well, so it's hard to predict anything. All of them are also very flexible, so they don't have anyone who just does one strat or something. So yeah, I think it's hard to predict and hard to use that knowledge we have of them to really have an advantage.
With the meta shifting and styles having to change, it's anyone's game right now, because it's a whole new town hall that we're going into since the World Championships.
Yeah, I think NTZ is probably like one of the teams which stayed like the most similar to last year. I mean, obviously there's also other teams like MCS and Vatang which didn't have much of a change. But yeah, I mean, INTZ is still like a very good clan, obviously. They have good base building, they have good attacking. So yeah, I think they will also be a good challenge in March. And I think overall the lineup is pretty balanced. And I mean, there's also like clans like Rock SA, which you don't really know much about, but I heard a lot of good stuff about them, so we will see how good they will perform. It's going to definitely be an exciting first qualifier.
Who do you think your toughest opponent is going to be? But that leaves that questionable point there of you don't necessarily know all of those opponents, because Rock SA came kind of almost out of nowhere. We saw them and nobody really knew who they were during the qualifiers, at least from our main war community. And they rocked it and they're making their way in. Does that leave an opening for you to say like they might be your toughest opponents only for the simple fact that you know nothing about them? Or do you think it's that known team that you have to worry about?
I mean, it's hard. It's very hard to say, because then there's also like a Musan team where you know like a few of the players. Like obviously you know Wei and UZP, but I don't really know the other three players, for example. So obviously with having like the World Championship MVP in their team and like two world champions, that's also a very good team. But yeah, it's really hard to say. I think if I really have to pick, that's tough. But it would probably be INTZ or Tribe Gaming. Wouldn't really want to choose between either of them. They're both really good clans. They have good bases, good offense. That can definitely be a good matchup. I can't really say a lot more about the other clans, because even Aphelion, which we played with a bit, I don't really know the guys now in that team. I know them, but I don't really know like what they do now or how good they are now. It's really hard to predict. So yeah, it's a bit of a surprise, I guess. We will find out in March. But right now, I would probably say INTZ or Tribe Gaming, just because I know how good they are.
And I think that's going to make for a really exciting qualifiers. Is that there's so many unknowns there, because we do have those teams coming together where we know some of the players, but we don't necessarily know how well they work together, because we've only seen them, for just a day or two of a showing.
And I mean, if you remember back to last year, there was one clan, maybe some people remember it, called Vateng, which nobody really knew about before that, I think. And they completely smashed it. So anything can happen.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's definitely going to be exciting and a lot of fun, and we're really hyped. Just counting the days, basically.
It's been such a successful 2020 for you guys so far, and we're not even into March. It's only been 2 months, and you guys are already rocking it. So I personally am very excited to see you guys moving forward and doing so well. I know everybody's excited to see you guys in Poland and making those leaps and bounds. Huge congratulations to you for the grand finals championship title in EWU with that $1,000 cash prize that you got. Anything in particular you guys are planning on spending it on? Is that going to help towards going to Poland, to getting your gear together, anything like that?
Yeah, we're probably just going to save it up if we ever need it. Maybe for the next update, if there's any anytime soon. Who knows? I would definitely be down to have a meetup sometime. So yeah, we can also maybe save the money for that.
Yeah, a little team bonding sometime in between, which I think sounds nice. So plenty to come for J-Off. We're gonna see Sir Iron, Yo-Yo Boom, Ast, Linnaid, Vale, all to come in the next weeks or so. And in just a few weeks, we'll get to see them on the big stage. So welcome back, Sir Ironheart. It's been a couple of months since we spoke. We have not seen you play in Poland yet because we've had the outbreak of COVID. So things have been pushed back, but there have been some other changes that have come along. There's a shiny logo right above my head that kind of indicates what it is. But welcome back, and we've got a lot to talk about. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks, Neil, and thanks for having me. Yeah, unfortunately, we weren't able to go, or at least not yet. Let's see when that's going to happen. But yeah, we are now no longer J-Off. We are signed by aTTaX. And yeah, I'm happy to be here and talk about that.
J-Off now is officially an eSports org. Well, not J-Off, because J-Off is still playing under their name, but the Sixer team is now contracted with aTTaX and doing some incredible stuff. And that was as of March. And we got to see you showcase your new eSports org and rep them in the ESL Meisterschaft, which is the German division of ESL. There's various divisions. They have the North American Mobile Open, Benelux, and Germany has their own, which is Meisterschaft. And you guys actually qualified through the first round to play off in the finals.
Yeah, it's definitely exciting, especially because we faced Tribe, and we were able to beat them. And yeah, it's like every week now, like a qualifier basically. And yeah, we qualified as first team. And Tribe now qualified as the second team.
This is going to be pretty epic, I think, because we're going to see that again. And that was an amazing battle. I know, like, it was hard to know who to root for because, like, you guys are some of the most solid players. You take these 5 players, from each team, put them together, and it's like you have powerhouses going at it. So it really put on for a good show. But man, what a statement you guys made, taking down Tribe, showing really just how powerful alternate attacks really is. It was pretty incredible showing.
Yeah, especially like our first war under the name of alternate attacks was in the finals. So against Tribe, we were still J-Off basically. But yeah, our first war was like the first qualifier final, and yeah, we actually managed to perfect that war. So that was like a impressive statement for like our first statement under the name. And yeah, we also won the second war. Is like the finals is a best of 3, so we went 2-0. and yeah, it was really fun. And it's really exciting to see other good teams also in ESL Meisterschaft.
I think that was kind of our preview into what we might get to see with the World Championships when we do finally get to that point. And that's a little bit of a topic of conversation because we really don't know when we're going to get to see you guys moving on to the qualifiers, which were previously supposed to have been this in March. They were supposed to have been March 27th, but because of the global pandemic, we've seen a lot of pushbacks, and this was tentatively rescheduled for May. And I think this is even something that we're still not sure if we're going to see in May. I think that's going to be a bit up in the air depending on where everyone is within their own countries, how things have slowed down, hopefully, by that time.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's not that unlikely that it gets pushed back again, because, I mean, there's a lot of stuff involved, obviously, but mostly, obviously also Supercell and ESL want to be sure that, the players are safe, the staff is safe, and everyone involved is safe. And secondly, obviously, there's also a lot of like politics also having an impact. Like if some countries don't allow you to travel, or if some countries just won't take any people. Like for example, if Poland says no, we don't want anyone coming right now, then obviously it's not possible. It's going to be quite interesting how the situation changes, or what's going to happen next, and nobody really knows. But yeah, hopefully at some point it will happen.
But in the meantime, we have a lot of leagues coming up and a lot of great matches that are keeping you guys sharp, are really showcasing how incredible you're doing. CWL, Champions War League, I should say. The Champions War League has an eSports division now, and you guys just rocked it. You had a beautiful showcase the other night. Near perfect war from you guys.
Yeah, I mean, CWL has been like around for forever, and it's nice to see them also going into that esport direction and making an extra league or an extra style just for that. We managed actually to sign up late, so we're now not in the European division. We are now in the I think American division.
I can't complain because I can actually cover most of these wars now.
Yeah, it's I mean, we all six of us are from Europe, so it's not perfect for us, I guess, but we can live with it. And
quarantine helps, doesn't it?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, now everyone has a bit more time and is a bit more flexible. But yeah, it's really fun to compete in those kind of tournaments. And I mean, we are in many more tournaments. We also play EW when it restarts, and there's also some other tournaments or cups and whatnot where we play, because obviously we have a bit more time now. No qualifier round. The next two Supercell CDLs won't be relevant for the Clash of Clans World Championship qualifier. It's obviously we have a bit more time now, and we do a lot of tournaments to stay sharp and to still compete at the highest level.
And now with the update that's actually dropped, it gives you some downtime to learn the new troops, though I don't think it's going to take you guys very long to make those super troops ridiculously insane. I mean, we've got those super wall breakers, and you guys are notoriously amazing with queen charges. You guys are going to be unstoppable with some of these super troops in my mind. What is your feeling on the new super troops since you've had a couple of days to check it out?
I mean, I personally think that they are still a bit like they are too strong for sure. But I mean, I get the idea. There was always like the issue that Tunnel 13s and higher Tunnel always have too much dark elixir just lying around. So basically the idea was, okay, let's make a like subscription system where you can get rid of your dark elixir. That's basically what super troops are. Um, the troops themselves are, yeah, a bit too strong, I feel like. Um, but yeah, maybe after a bit balancing, they should be at a really good place in the game. And they are basically new troops, which makes it really exciting. But yeah, I don't know, like the fact that you, for example, can't really stop the wall breakers is just really OP. Like you never have to really worry about a wall break not going to happen.
You don't need to freeze multis anymore. You
Yeah,
don't need
so
to
that's
test wall
a big
break.
thing. Exactly, it's a big thing. I mean, we didn't see many multis anyways. Um, so yeah, I think they are a bit too strong, but not like some people make it worse than it is, I think. Um, but yeah, I think it's a good idea. Could maybe still need some changes. For example, the subscription idea. I'm not 100% a fan of it. I understand why they did it, but yeah, maybe there could be better solutions for it.
Do you like the 7 day period of it, or would you prefer to see it where you can go back to the other troop?
I get like basically what they do now is that you don't just not everyone just picks one troop, right? Because now you have to take at least two troops. But like what I definitely don't like is that you cannot use the normal troop while you have the super troop. I don't like that at all because I think that's just like you have to commit to one troop for 7 days and basically ban another troop, like the normal troop, for those 7 days, which I don't know, like just doesn't really feel right to me. Um, so I don't like that fact. And yeah, as I said, like the 7 day cooldown is basically just, I guess, just so you don't use one troop the entire time because probably everyone would just use the wall breaker.
I
Because
think it should be that way. I think it's almost saying like this is your choice. You want to use these, you want this power. It's going to come at a price. And not only the price of the dark elixir, but the fact that you can't go back to using those other troops. I actually like that. I think it makes that decision a little bit tougher to then use it because then you know you can't go back to those regular troops for that 7 days. So it doesn't make it an easy decision to use it. So people won't
yeah,
use it necessarily that lightly.
yeah, but yeah, overall, I think it's a good idea. I wouldn't personally have taken the wall breaker. I think because I mean, if you remember back to, for example, last World Championship where Bernal sometimes did like crazy queen charges, and it was always like very exciting to see is the wall break going to happen? Does he manages to catch the wall breakers in the rage and stuff like that? And that's really like skilled moves and whatnot to get the wall break done. But all of that is kind of gone now, um,
It
because you
takes
just drop the wall break and it's going to wall break.
Yeah, it takes away that
So
beauty of a really skilled queen charge that and it makes it. I will say personally, I am a queen charge god right now at Town Hall 13.
yeah, it's. I mean, I like overall I understand the idea, but I wouldn't have supported the wall breaker. I think there could have been maybe other troops. Um, which needed more. I think wall breakers were in a really good place, because you can, like with rage, you still are able to get really good wall breaks done, and like I think it's like the amount of wall breakers you needed to break a wall was quite balanced, especially under rage. But yeah, it is what it is now. So you have to work with whatever tools you're given, and yeah, I don't think it's as bad as many people say, though, that it's completely broken and they need to ban them or whatnot. I don't think that's the case, but maybe a bit more. I
Little
don't know. It's
nerf.
hard. It's yeah, a little. I mean, a little nerve. It's obviously tough, but maybe like I mean, if you maybe just make the wall breakers a bit more, like let's say they take 10 troop space, then like as an attacker, you'd really think, okay, 5 wall breakers, I can easily get that done with 3 wall breakers. Do you really want to take the super wall breakers, you know? But yeah, it's going to be exciting also to see what other troops like really get usage, because for example, I right now don't really know if I would ever choose the giant, but there are definitely people who will come up with some crazy giant strats,
Yeah.
and maybe they're really exciting, really cool, that I will also change my mind and say, yeah, giant for sure.
I mean, HGHB works. I've done it already. An HGHB attack in Town Hall 13, which I think is crazy to see that coming around there. But I don't think we've really seen anyone use it with witches yet. I mean, you imagine these giants are very much like having a golem that moves faster and can rip through walls and defenses quicker. So you have the tank of a golem that can power through under rage, almost like using a Valk, you know, because he really shreds through if you get him under the rage. So you pop that in a base with witches. I haven't seen this yet. I don't know if we're going to see anything like that, but the same, maybe using them to tank for Yeti smashes instead of P.E.K.K.A.s. You know, and bringing those around, we really could see some pretty crazy stuff with the giants to come. What's the super troop that you like the most so far then?
The strongest one is definitely the warbreaker. But I personally still like the goblin, I think, the most, because I think it's interesting what you can do, like with using it in the blimp to get the town hall. And I think that's also more balanced. Like you can actually trap it if you want to as a base builder. It's not easy, obviously, but I think it's more balanced than the Yeti blimp. And I also like the funnel aspect. Like it can be really good funnel. You can just trade it like 2 goblins for storage, or 1 goblin for a pump or something like this. And I think that's really good value.
I think the best thing we've seen definitely with those super goblins is those blimps. I agree. And the way that it's shaping up for queen charges, because it gives you that different value to go for the town hall, not having to queen charge in, and allowing your queen to go to an opposite end and still have that hound coming through, you know, let those sneaky gobs drop over the town hall. But like you said, I think we are going to see some ways to defend against that. But again, it's going to be a decision when it comes to base building, where you want to move those bombs around and, you know, how you want to readjust your bases. Because it
Yep.
would leave some opening for other strategies to start working through. So there's a lot of time now to start figuring out these super troops, how to use them more creatively, and even how to defend against them before we get into those World Championship qualifiers that we're very much looking forward to getting back to. Anything that you're working on with the super troops in particular?
Like you mentioned earlier that like a lot of people looked at Hound with like the goblins together. Like I don't think that's ultimately a new thing from us, but I mean I saw a few people rather prefer Hawks instead of a Hound in the CC.
Okay.
Like because you can like use it obviously during hybrid, and hybrid is still stronger in many cases. There's also like the mix of like having 5 goblins, like super goblins, and then having Hawks in there. It's really interesting. I think now it's still a bit too soon to actually say, or like to actually see what people have come up with, because many people haven't even tried every super troop yet, or like obviously most people haven't. If you don't have 4 accounts, it's quite hard to test all super troops.
Very true.
But yeah, for example, the barbs, I'm quite excited if anyone comes up with anything fancy for them, because they are quite strong. But yeah, like the barbs and the giant feel a bit more spammy. So yeah,
Yeah.
let's see.
The barbs, if you can, they do such great work inside a base if you can get good funnel value with them.
Yeah, for Tono 13, the biggest issue for the barbs is just there's just so much splash,
Yeah.
and especially with the like the sketchers also having the splash behind their first target. That's really bad for the barbs because they get splash, splash,
Roasted.
splash, and then they just die.
Yeah, it's a matter of
And I
knowing
mean,
your entry and using
yeah,
that warden ability to get them through, and using
exactly.
jumps to, because that's not something you want beating through walls. That's something you want getting over and into the defenses. That's definitely something that you have to be mindful of. But it's good that there's still that component that you can't just overwhelm a base at, for no reason with the spam. That there are still ways to defend against some of these. It's not going to be one way or another.
One thing I liked a lot about the update is finally the Archer Tower upgrade, and also the Bomb Tower feels a lot better now. I mean, the Bomb Tower already got a buff, and now he gets an upgrade again. So like the Bomb Tower is definitely something, which you should plan for, and which will do a lot of damage, especially to hybrid.
Yeah.
And also the fact that finally the Royal Champ can't one-shot Archer Towers anymore with the ability. That's huge. That's really nice to see. And also, which a lot of people don't always think about, I really like that Mortar's got a new level, because trading one loon for Mortar for Funnel is just very cheap. And stuff like tiny stuff like this really makes an update worth it or valuable, I think.
Yeah, I think this is going to lead to seeing at very least some more time fails, which we were already starting to see. This is, it's the updates little by little, the balance changes that they've made have been adding to it. And it's good that they're thinking about that, not just introducing these like powerful super troops and not making some buffs to the defenses along the way. But again, also trying to balance some of that ground component as well for the hybrid, for the Yetis, which I will say with the update that they did, the balance change for the spring traps, I have noticed more Yetis flying, more hogs flying. It seems to be hitting those ground units a little bit harder over the past couple of weeks since that change.
Yeah, I think, for example, the spring change was a good idea. And I also like now that the Ice Golem, the freeze is a little bit shorter. I think that's good, because like we've seen many time fails because of the Ice Golem CCs. They are still usable in defense, but obviously I think we will see a little bit less Ice Golems in the CCs. And then also one thing I really like is that they changed that Yeti might lure the CC, which is a bit of a nerf towards Yeti Blimp, because it can happen that you don't get the full CC with like a Yeti Blimp, and in many Yeti Blimps you kind of want the CC, or you need the CC actually. So I think Yeti Blimps are got like a little nerf. They're still very OP. I think that was a good change and something which helps keeping it balanced.
And they needed that. Yetis needed a little something. It was becoming too overpowered and too overused. And I think that is the nice thing that we'll see with the update is a little more variety. People moving out of that Yeti range and trying new things, especially, even with the super wall breakers being OP, it's going to get people to step out of that range and try new attacks, try new strategies, which I think is going to be nicer. I think we'll see people who are relying more heavily on those, quote unquote spammy style attacks shifting into different meta. So what else are we going to see you guys doing in the downtime before we head back to those world championships? You mentioned EWU. Are you going to be joining Pinnacle Cup again?
I'm actually not 100% sure what our last stand was on that, but I think, I think we're going to do it too. I think there are a few more tournaments. Like we're doing the one German tournament. It's a high class war league.
Okay.
We that started already a few weeks ago, and we will obviously play that. And it's like the third week now where it's going on, and we're actually, I think, placed first out of like 98 clans at the moment. There's like a ranking or something going on. Then we obviously also have the Germans midweek league. Then there's like a French tournament, a couple French tournaments like Union Clash and all those tournaments. So there's definitely some action. We won't really get bored.
Plenty to keep you guys busy. Well, thank you again for joining. And we're definitely looking forward to seeing what alternate aTTaX has to come. A huge congrats on making it through the first qualifying rounds for Meisterschaft. We're very excited to see you, obviously, once the World Championships resume, to see if you will win that spot to get into the World Championships. But we're not quite sure when that's going to happen. So in the meantime, we'll have to hang tight and take a look through the other various leagues that you'll be showcasing in, but all exciting stuff. And let's give a huge shout out as well to your content creator. We have Puddin, who has been covering JL for quite some time now and putting out a lot of great content. So if you want to see more of what's coming from JOff directly and from alternate aTTaX, just make sure that you're following Puddin on YouTube. I'll post the links in the description below. Thank you for tuning in today. I hope you enjoyed the episode. I have to give a huge shout out to Sir Ironheart and the guys over at Alternate aTTaX. Lots of great stuff to come. We're very excited to see Vale coming back around to the competitive scene. It says a lot of maybe what we're going to see with other retired players who are yet to actually announce their comeback, but definitely exciting times to come. If you enjoyed the episode, please make sure to click that thumbs up button, and don't forget to check the description below for links to Puddin's channel, who does all of the media for JOff and Alternate aTTaX. Until next time, this is Lady B. I'll catch you guys later.
Bye.